So I'm Ben Savage with Veritas Automata. I have Martial here from Infotrend. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're doing?
Hi, I'm Martial. I'm the chief technologist for Infotrend. What we do at Infotrend is we support federal agencies to do work with different topics. The first one would be e-discovery. We also are doing some work with cryptocurrencies. In general, we are basically supporting agencies to try to achieve their goals, be it legal or be it software deployment or actually building full stacks, which is a wonderful project if you ask me.
So what are the biggest challenges when you're working with federal agencies with those kind of tools? Because I'm going to assume that there's some limitations of what you can do. You can't just always go find a shiny new tool or use what's the most exciting.
That's very true. Very often when we work with the different agencies, we have to work with what is available already vetted at the agency. So what that means sometimes is that you want to use the most efficient tool, but if it's not approved, then you have to work with the agency to design an authorization to use, right? Which really means that you have to prove to them that it is useful, that you can secure it, and that you can make it available to their team, deployed on whatever cloud providers they have available within the agency. It's not always, often I would like to develop, a very complex, shiny stack. I mean, we all, as technologists, we all have the shiny problem, right? It's beautiful technology when I use, but obviously we have to conform with what is available within the agency, we come up with very elegant solutions most of the time.
Well, and I think there's an element I'd almost describe as similar to like a safety critical application, right? Because of these tools, you have to really understand, because of the nature of e-discovery and some of the work that you do, you would have to understand exactly how the tool works, why it makes certain decisions, and why it doesn't do things for the provability, right?
Yes, sir. Most of the agency work with a different concept, which usually are quality assurance, right? What they want is they want you to basically be able to prove that it's gonna always do the same thing, which is good, right? I mean, deterministic programming is a good thing, but we also have to make sure that the different tools that we use are integrated within the stack. So there is three things to consider. The first one is always cost. The second one is efficiency, and the third one is making it functional for whichever agency you work with, right? Sometimes the first and the third don't always match, but it's part of the challenge, right? We're here to help. We're here to try to make it as efficient and as resilient as possible for the different agency, which is also with the recent push to efficiency is very important.
Yeah. So does that mean you get the ability to work with machine learning, but not Gen AI in these kind of solutions?
It's going to depend on the agency, right? So at Infotrend, we have actually a few tools that actually do all of that, right? So I maintain a tool called CTPO. It's called CUDA, TensorFlow, PyTorch, OpenCV. I'm sorry, I'm sure we'll rebrand it. But the idea is, you need the building blocks, the frameworks to be able to do machine learning, right? And that's what we are providing. We're providing a tool that makes it possible for you to have a Docker container, so you can deploy it anywhere, pretty much, and you're going to get idempotent deployment, meaning that you're always going to get the same thing. And then what that means is that as you build on the technology, you can create your own Docker image that actually allows you to create more complex solutions. So PyTorch, obviously, generative AI, right? Also, and that's actually really great, is that if you have multiple GPUs, you're able to basically spread the load on multiple GPUs. One thing that is actually really, I'm going to say, cool to have is that with CTPO, and because I've been doing that project for years, right? With CTPO, you have a CPU version. So with the CPU version, you can basically design on CPU, and when you're comfortable with it, you can deploy on GPU. The only difference is basically the runtimes that you're going to have behind and have to be able to test it. Right?
Well, that's really nice, because I think some people underestimate either the cost of having all the GPUs or just sometimes the access in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, it's always so. It's actually interesting because Nvidia's make most of their money now. They actually in cloud.
Yep.
It used to be a gamer company. Now they are mostly making money in cloud. But that's the thing. Those GPUs, and I was at GTC last year. It was an incredible event for me because I was able. I mean, like I said, I do Gen AI, right? I'm having a lot of fun with Gen AI. I design front end for Gen AI. I design some. I have a personal GitHub repo where I work basically with Stable Diffusion.
Yeah.
And some of the skills I learned last year were all about optimization, right?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that NVIDIA did right. CUDA, in particular, is what makes all those optimization. It's a mathematical principle to basically spread the load on 4,000 cores, right? That's why it's magic.
So do you think anyone's going to come and surpass or provide a real alternative to NVIDIA in the near future with their tech?
So it's a complex answer. And the reason I'm saying that is that, you see ARM come up with a really good technical solution, but it really depends on how much you can spread on cores in particular case.
Yeah.
So the AMD EPYC, for example, wonderful chips. ARM64 are doing, so we're SCaLE, right? System 76 is here.
Yep.
They have an ARM chip with 96 gig of memory. The unified memory is what makes the difference nowadays. But at the end, for LLM, it's wonderful, right?
Yep.
For Stable Diffusion, it's a more complex problem
Yep.
because you don't, the cores is what make the difference for those harder mathematical problems.
Yep. So as we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience or share with the group?
I mean, I've been a Linux open source developer for 30 years.
Yeah.
So for me, SCaLE is a wonderful event, and I really look forward to all the people I'm meeting for the event, and go Linux.
Cool. And so where can people find you?
People can find us on the Infotrend.com website. If you look up on GitHub, you'll find that Infotrend has a couple open source projects. CTPO is one of them. An OpenAI Web UI is another one. We're actually building more open source projects.
Cool.
I mean, I've been pushing really hard to tell the world, hey, or to tell the company, open source is the way to go, because we want people to realize technology is. I mean, for me, machine learning is always the same problem. People think AI is magic. AI is just machine learning components put together and made to behave like a human, and that's actually why I really like the idea of open sourcing most of what we can. I mean, there is always the concern, but when we release this thing in open source, you can basically continue the thing. So if you look up on Infotrend GitHub, you'll find me, M Martial on GitHub, and reach out and let's make good things happen.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. So
Thank you, Ben.
Martial. Thank you.